Oh, good morning. I'm cranking out another video here. If you watched the video just before this, you would know that I always do blind reveals. This time, I have three PSA orders that have come back from the backlog from the one I just recorded was from December 2020. This order is from January 2021, and then I'm going to do one more after this. That was February 2021. So this one was sitting at 21 months, which is absolutely ridiculous and crazy, but everybody knows about PSA backlog and blah, 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 blah. And anyways, I always do blind reveals. Except for I did the last video and then I did this video and then I went to upload them onto YouTube and found out that the memory card in my phone was corrupt or something was wrong with it and there were no files to upload. They hadn't recorded. They said, it was just I don't know, something was wrong with the format. Who knows? Whatever. I'm not a technical guy. I really don't give a shit. And I had to put everything down and my grades have been crap. Like all the other videos, PSA stuff coming back from the backlog. I think they were just kind of putting the pedal to the metal and just cranking out the backlog as fast as they can the last little while. And these are the results. A bunch of very questionable grades that I'm pretty sure a year ago or whatever probably would have been 10s, and now they're getting 9s, and 9s are getting 8s, and same as all the other videos you've been watching. So I do know these grades. Why? Because I've already done this. But whatever. We will continue on as best we can. And hopefully this file is not corrupt. This is the way I like to do it. Card number, the PSA amount graded. This is an 89 Upper Deck Randy Johnson. It's been graded just under 33,000 times. That's the breakdown of grades from 10 to 7. It's got a 15% gem rate from PSA. I always like to throw in the SGC gem rate just for comparisons, which is always kind of interesting. Usually this is pretty average. It's usually about half of what the PSA one is for lots of the junk wax that I like to submit. This is my fun stuff. Lots of this stuff. This is the 89 Upper Deck. Everybody knows this set. This was about the start of my first go around when I was collecting, was 89. So I have a lot of 89 Upper Deck. Never pulled the Griffey out of a pack though. People, I know there's so many of them floating around out there. I never pulled one from a pack. I had to buy one off my neighbor. I remember trading him some cards and giving him like $5 or something to get his Griffey. Way back when. But this I did have. So I have a lot of this and like 89 hoops and stuff like that. I collected through till about 93 sometime, and then no idea why I stopped or lost interest or whatever. But that's where my collection kind of stops until I got back into it right at the beginning of 2020. And had to buy in a little bit of everything under the sun. I wanted to collect all of it. And then I kind of figured out that no, this is the stuff I like to collect. I like to collect 90s cards, and this is the stuff that I really enjoy and interests me. The 90s, especially the 90s inserts. So this is what I'm focusing on. But this is the stuff I really like to submit, is stuff that I opened from packs way back in the day. So this was in my box of 89 Upper Deck. The Randy Johnson rookie card, the big unit, nice card, decently centered. I predicted on this one a 9. I'm not really sure why. I don't know if there was something on the surface. That's, of course, just scuffing on the, brand new card, brand new slab, scuffs on it. Awesome. Wonderful. Not the way I like to start off. And then, I think I mentioned the review that I just did, a lot of crap grades. I only had 110 out of 20 cards or 19 cards. And this reveals no better. Spoilers. Anyways, prediction was a 9. It got a 9. I would like to take a better look at this. I think I gave it a 9 because of the centering, but Jesus. I don't know, man. That centering is, it is definitely a little thicker on this side, but I do have a small stack already started of cards that, cards that I kind of thought were like a 9+. This would be like a 9+. I understand with the centering. If I'm going to crack these and send them to SGC, it's not going to get a 10. It just doesn't have 10 centering. But I feel like it's better than a 9. And I know Alico 3 does that a lot. He'll put like 9+. And I think this is a 9+. I think it has a definite shot at least a good like 9.5. And a lot of these cards, I'm going to roll the dice and send them in again to SGC and see what they say. So there you go. That's a crack out candidate. When I got back into grading, I really liked, or got back into collecting, I really liked this set. So I bought a box, and this was one of the cards that I pulled out of that box. This was pack fresh. I pulled it out 2 years ago. 2 years ago when I sent these in. So like the borders, the edges, the corners on this card are fantastic. The surface, there's nothing wrong with this thing. The only issues it has is the centering, and you can see by the edges of the basket that it is definitely thicker on this side. But everything else on this card, even like the back centering, like look at that. I wish the front had the back centering anyways. So I predicted a 10, but I'm going to have to look at a bunch of copies online and see exactly. I'm pretty sure it's the basketball net that should be centered. But this came back a 9. But this is a possible candidate for a crack and resub too, because of how sharp and clean everything else is on this card, I think it might have a shot at an SGC 9.5. Depends on centering. That's the big if. Another card from back in the day. This is from 91 Leaf. I bought so much Leaf baseball. Holy cow. And I had a stack of these Gold Leaf rookies. And this was one of the better of guys that were notable. You know, of course, they got the Gold Leaf rookies, all the big prospects, all the guys that are going to be Hall of Famers. And most of them you have never even heard of before. There's only a couple guys of note in there, and Jeff Bagwell is one of them. So here you go. Gem rate, 20, almost 21, 23%, 5.5 for SGC. There's a breakdown. Prediction was a 9+. Centering on this one, gorgeous, beautiful centering. The corners, the edges, the surface, everything was really nice on this card. It's, full border back. There's no chipping on anything like that. The card is, it's 31 years old. Been sitting in a box. 9+. It got a 9. This is also, I got a lot of cards from these last two submissions that are candidates for SGC just because of the 9.5. PSA, man, why doesn't PSA have a 9.5? I think lots of these cards are definite 9.5s. If this card isn't a 9.5, I always understand if it doesn't get a 10, because a 10's hard, but it's nicer than a 9. There's no, like, the foil is 100% intact all over. That's kind of a big one with these cards. You'll see little pieces of foil missing and stuff. Front and back, Jesus, like, that's a sharp card, man. That's a beautiful sharp card. Doesn't deserve a 9. I think it possibly deserves a 10. Anyways, what are we? 91 O-Pee-Chee Premiere. This is also stuff that I have crap tons. Picked out a couple of the best Griffies. Griffey's a PC guy. The prediction was 1.9, 1.10, and that was off centering. I think this one was the worst centered of the two. It should be. Whenever I had two cards that I sent into the same, I put the worst one in front. So they looked at it. If they were to look at this and go, oh, yeah, okay, well, it's not perfect. It's not centered. Like, oh, okay, we'll give it a 9. And then if they see the better copy of the one behind it, hopefully the thought was that they would give that one the 10 because they'd already given this one the 9. I don't think that really holds true. Another reason was that right there, that little black dot. That's on every one of these cards. That's on every one of these Griffey O-Pee-Chee Premiere. And so I sent in another one just also for the fact, because it was cheap grading and everything else. But if they see that and they're like, oh man, it's got a dot there. And then of course he grabs the next card and goes, oh shit, they both got the exact same dot. I'm sure it's in their notes, but on this card, but even if it's not, that would be the reason. And this one, yeah, one of those little head scratchers. You know how you see these videos and a guy, you know, holds a card and goes, how did this get a 6? This is mine. This is my token, and it always seems to be a 6. A 6 is the grade that when it's an absolute head scratcher. You know, a card that gets a 9 instead of a 10. Okay, I understand that. This, a 6? How's this a 6? What about this? What about this screams a 6? It's sharp. The edges are perfect. The corners are perfect. If anything, it's the centering. And is that 6 centering? I have found these last 2 submissions, the consistency of the grading from PSA is, I would call, questionable and suspect. So that would have been the one that I considered a 9. And then this one was the 10. There's the little black dot. Same thing. A little bit better centering because like the edges and corners and stuff, they were identical for surface and all that. It was just the centering, and this one had what I would call basically perfect centering. You want it. No, it's perfect. It's perfect centering. There's no, like, that's the same. That's the same center. It's perfect. Perfect centering, perfect everything else. And it gets the 9. So, yeah, I'll give you $1 if you can tell me what exactly is the 3 grade difference between these 2 cards. Like, if you can, hey man, if you can spot something and say it in the comments, and I look at it and I go, yeah man, you're totally right. Yeah, there was like a giant smashed in corner. That's why it got a 6, or a crease. There is nothing. There's nothing. Those are like a half grade difference. If you're talking about centering being the only thing, those are like, what, half a grade difference? No, 3 full grades. So whatever, moving on. I don't want to get off topic and heated again like I did yesterday. This is another card from back in the day. I really liked promo cards for whatever reason. I don't know. I have quite a few promo cards. I knew I had this one, and this was one that I thought, like, ooh, I should send that off to get graded. And then when I looked, I actually had 2 of them. I have no idea. I don't remember finding 2 back in the day. But one had a kind of a destroyed edge on it, which was not a concern back then. That was not something you looked at, was the condition of the card that much. Sounds strange saying that now, but that was never really, you didn't take a look. You didn't notice those things. I don't know why. It just wasn't, because there was no grading. Grading was not a thing. It was whatever. So another 31-year-old card, but this one, I was like, holy smokers. I actually have a really nice one. The surface is clean. Check out the centering on that thing. If you're going to get nitpicky, I would say it'd be top and bottom. It's a little thicker on the top than it is the bottom. Come on, quit it. Oh, here we go, like that. A little thicker on top, but the left and right is, I'd say, bang on. Holograms intact. All the older Upper Deck stuff, the hologram's always an issue. But clean card, man. Clean prediction. Like, I predicted a 10. I still looking at it. I'd say that's still a 10. And I pulled a 9. So that will definitely... I really wanted a 10 on that card. That would have made me super happy. Jordan's a PC guy. Jordan and Griffey. As you can kind of tell, because I've had a lot of Jordan and Griffeys in here. But those are 2 big PC guys. I really wanted a 10 on that card. Didn't get it. More 90. This 91 Upper Deck basketball. I've opened so much of this stuff. I had a big stack of these holograms. I went through and kind of picked the best ones out. These, if you have any experience with this older stuff, these holograms, first of all, this was like revolutionary. Hologram cards like this, there were no you know, and nowadays they don't even do holograms. It's all refractors and rainbow foils and blah blah blah. But this from back then was huge. It was like, what the, there's holograms, and especially even like they used the hologram. Oh, okay, the holograms didn't have a hologram back. I guess they don't need it. They have a whole hologram front. But even like the holograms on the back, that was huge. That was revolutionary kind of stuff. 91 upper deck. So I picked out the best. I put in 2 of these. I predicted them both a 9 just because the surface on these things is so touchy. You even look at them the wrong way and they will scratch. This is another one of those cards, just like the Griffey. I sent in 2 because, and I have no idea. I would have to take a really, really good look at it. But there is somewhere on this card a black spot. Kind of the same as the Griffey, but it is an actual, it's in the image of the hologram, because I pulled out like 5 of these ones and I looked at them and all of them had the identical little black mark. Where it is, I can't remember. This was January of 2021 and it is now middle of October 2022. So this is, 21 months old. I don't remember where that little black spot is, but I predicted them both a 9. This one got an 8. These cards, to crack and resub, I don't know, because like I said, the surface on these cards is so incredibly delicate. There could be some little hidden scratches in there that take it down to an 8. So I wouldn't bother resubbing that. But from what I remember, these 2 cards were identical, and I sent them both because they were identical, and to make sure that they didn't pick up on that black spot if I only sent one and think that it was a defect, but it's not. It's in the image of the hologram. So this is the other one. This one did get a 9, so I'm probably happy with that. I'd leave that. Neither one of these I would resub. We're only looking at less than 10% gem rate on the PSA and less than 5% on the SGC. That's pretty normal. That's, usually about double. I think I mentioned that already. I don't know about lately because PSA seems to have clamped down, nothing like being consistent, but whatever. 92 tops. I also had tons of these. Not a single Jordan Gold, though. That kind of chokes me. The Jordan Gold and the Shaq Gold. I didn't have any of those. But a previous submission, I sent in a bunch of like 3 or 4 of the tops Shaqs just to try to get one. Didn't get any. This card, I thought for sure was a 10. It is sharp, sharp, sharp. The corners, the edges, pulled from a pack in 92, sleeved, put in a box because it's Jordan, and Jordan's always been my favorite guy. Front and back, solid card. Predicted a 10, got a 9. Where the hell the deduction on this thing is. So there's a bunch of these. If you ever watch Elite Co 3, he's unbelievable. Cards that he does reveals on, and he sends a lot of stuff off to different companies out of spite. I like that a lot. I think I mentioned that. I can't remember what I mentioned today or yesterday or in which video or but I think I mentioned that he does a lot of I'm an old man and I like to do things out of spite too. So a bunch of these cards over the next few months or whatever, I will probably be making up some SGC submissions and sending them off to my SGC guy. Just out of spite, because I don't think that these are 9s and 8s. I believe, a lot of these 9s are at least a 9.5. That card, I think that's a 10. I will, of course, take a much closer deep dive on these cards just to make sure. But this one, this is 92. Yeah, the 92 Beam Team. Just the regular Tops Beam Team, not the Stadium Club Beam Team, which is the big one. But this came out of the set. Or an insert set from the regular Tops Beam Team with Kevin Johnson and Dennis Rodman on there as well, but Jordan in the middle where he belongs. And I thought this one was a 10. Nothing wrong with this one, but of course it gets a 9. So anything with Jordan, or Griffey or Shaq, there's no Shaqs in any of these ones, that I am not agreeing with, I will send this one. I think pisses me off the most. I thought this one was a lock at a 10. If there's anything, it would be top and bottom centering. You know, how much different is that? Tiny sliver. Left and right is bang on. Front, back, this is full board. It's got that gold border. There is no dots of white. There are nothing wrong with the edges. The surface is as clean as can be. Front and back, these ones are prone to chipping on the back as well. There is nothing wrong with this card. There is no reason for this card to be a 9. Hands down, we'll be going into submission. This sub over the last one has a lot more cards that I am quite unhappy with the grades on that. This is that. The other one was the Topps regular set beam team. This is the Stadium Club beam team. I would love a Shaq or a Jordan out of this, but those are pretty far out of my price range. I thought this one was very, very clean. I didn't think it would get a 10, but I kind of predicted a 9 on it. Gem rates. This is a much smaller sample size because it's Pippen. Not as many people collect Pippen, but I think if you're a Jordan collector, you have to respect Pippen because they were a team. And as good as Jordan was, he needed somebody of the caliber of not a normal player. Like he needed somebody as a wingman and to just be on the court with him. That I think Pippen gets overlooked for a lot of stuff. And I know he's done interviews and stuff and is a little bitter, about it. But hey, man, I get it. He was a hell of a player in his own right. He just got overlooked so hard because he was on the court with Jordan all the time. So it's like, what's that movie? Talladega Nights? Ricky Bobby and and the other guy, I can never remember his name. John C. Reilly, whatever his, the old shake and bake. Well, I think that's what happened with Pippen. He got a little overlooked. This one I gave a 9. Came back a 7. Not really sure why. I looked this one over. These ones are really, really bad for centering. But look, like the centering on this card, I don't think this is a 7. And these ones, the chipping on the back is also can be really bad. This one has no back chipping anywhere. This was a solid card. And I do not think it's a 7. I had some serious head scratchers in these subs. Probably the biggest head scratcher is why I sent in a 92 Leaf Jeff Kent. I do not remember. Excuse me. I do not remember why I sent this in. I kind of was like, did I really send that card in? And it came back. I was like, yeah, I apparently did send this card up. I have no idea why. It's only been graded by PSA 122 times. Well, 3 times by SGC. Like, probably for a reason. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why I sent this in. Other than the centering on it is absolutely fantastic. It's got great centering, front and back. These got chipped. These got, corner dings and stuff with the silver to the edge, of which this card has none of it. A very solid, if not a 10, at least a 9.5. Another 9. Another 9. Awesome. Fantastic. Another card that I was hoping so bad for a 10 on this card, but I do know the centering left and right, if you can see that, it is off a tiny bit. It is a little thicker on this side than this side, but this is from 92 Leaf. This is the black gold. I believe they put one black gold in every pack, and this, I had so many of these. I bought so much of this stuff, and when I went searching, because I knew I had a Griffey, look at this thing. It's like that Jeter from that was from a different video. Anyways, the Pinnacle Jeter rookies, like this thing is so clean and so sharp. And it pulls a 9. 100% I'm sending that one to SGC for sure. I think pretty much I'll just repackage this whole thing and send it off to SGC. 1994 Sportflix 2000. This is the Starflix from that. It's a lenticular card. Pretty cool. Got this in a break. All 38, almost a 38% gem rate from PSA. Yeah, not today. Why? I don't know. Just cuz. I'll have to take a look. Maybe it's the centering. There is no reason why that card should be getting a 9 though, unless it is centering. Fleer metal. 95. If I would have kept collecting a little bit longer and got it to 95, the first pack I would have opened to this stuff would have cemented my collecting forever. Because I think this is one of the coolest, nicest, most fantastic. The 90s were, I know everybody's like, oh, 90s, man, everything's overproduced, blah, blah, blah. No, this was like golden age. This is revolutionary time of ingenuity and stuff in cards. The stuff nowadays, all the cracked dice and everything else, and the sparkle glimmers and the donut hole, whatever. It's like, it's all rehashed, bro. All your stuff is rehashed. This one I remember, yeah, it does have like there's a white dot. It's got a couple little issues on the back, but I sent it in, well, 1, because it's Jordan, and 2, because the front was perfect. The front was flawless. Centering and everything was absolutely perfect. But I predicted a 9 just because of the stuff on the back. And I agree with that. That's probably properly graded. I wouldn't expect a 10 with like dots like that. And there's like little tiny bits of chipping and stuff there. So, yep, that was fair. Same set. The Rodman. I like these. I might have to, if I display these, they'll be displayed side by side just because I think that's really cool. These are base. There's also a silver spotlight where the whole background was the same, but like all just like the silver, and it made the player just pop out way more. These are just the base. Those spotlights are pretty darn cool. There's the particulars for it. I gave it somewhere between 8 and a 9. I think this one had a little bit more issues on it. What they are exactly, I'm not sure, but it also got a 9. I do know that this one is not in as good a condition as that. Whatever. Same grade, sure, why not? 96 Skybox, Z-Force, Vortex, wicked insert set. That the 96, 97, 98 Skybox stuff, holy cow. The inserts and stuff that came out of those were unbelievable. This card, and you can see the whole Vortex is like an embossed, comes off the card. I predicted this a 9 for whatever reason. This is like, I would think that this would be a collected and graded set or subset, insert set, because just of the look. Like it's so sweet. It's such a sweet card. But PSA's only graded this one 5 times and SGC 1 with a total 10 population of 0. And I remember when I sent this in, right there at the bottom, there is a little white chip. But I just liked the card so much. And it is Pippin. And there were some back issues. There's a white and a little bit of edge issue there. Well, a fair bit of edge issue actually on this side all the way down. But I predicted a 9 and it got what did it get? Oh no, it only got an 8. Which I would say is probably pretty fair. It does have the back chipping, which a lot of the stuff from the 90s, for whatever reason, that's what got it. That's, for whatever reason, they were susceptible to chipping on the back. This is the Pinnacle 96 Pinnacle Summit. This is the Above and Beyond parallel. I think this is one of the sweetest cards in the whole submission. I love this. I bought a lot of like 7 or 8 of these Above and Beyond, and the Griffey and the J-Rod were in there. for not Jay, Alex Rodriguez. I do not know, and it was like something ridiculous. It was like $8 or $9. Some lady in Winnipeg had them. Don't ask me where or how or whatever. But when they showed up, and this one does have some print lines. There's some print lines in the hollow foil in the background. I think they're like up here and down here. So, oh, there, you can even see one right there. There's like a pretty good print line right there. And there's a couple of them. Yeah, and there's like another one right there, if you can see that. So there are print lines in here. Oh yeah, there's a couple across the top. Anyways, I predicted a 9, and then when it was coming back, I was like, man, I wouldn't be surprised if that one actually got an 8 just because of the number of print lines in there. But no, it got a 9. 0 issues on the back. I think it's quite nicely centered. Top, bottom, left, and right. So this will be, that's, I think, pretty fair. That's a fair grade on that. Well, actually, that one might be slightly overgraded, which is different from all the other cards that were undergraded, I think. Whatever. 97 Metal Universe. Oh my god, this is such, oh, I have the Pippin. This is like the only Marvel Universe Metal Universe ones that I have. When it showed up, I was like, you got to be kidding me. I thought this card was a 10. This card is a 10 all day long. There is 0 chipping or issues on the back. That's a big one. And then the front, there is not a scratch. There is nothing wrong with the corners, the edges. This card is money. Like it was, and just look at that thing, the shine. Like these, if it's just a regular base card, give me a break, man. These things are insane. I predicted a 10 on it. No reason. I don't understand any reason why this card wouldn't get a 10. And they gave it an 8. I don't know. Like there's a lot of stuff going on the surface. So maybe there has to be something going on the surface. Like, because everything else about this card is fantastic. Like there's no issues anywhere. Back, front, chipping, edges, corners. I can't find anything wrong with it. There was no scratches on it. There was nothing. All the foil's intact. So an 8? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is just the new way that the PSA's decided to grade everything. I don't know if it's just they were trying desperately to smash out the last of the backlog. So it's just like, just firing grades onto stuff. But I feel like some of this stuff was sorely undergraded. And then the odd card was overgraded. Some of them, like, yeah, there's quite a, there's a good chunk that are like, okay, I agree with that grade, but lots of undergraded, of course. And then the odd ones that might be a little overgraded. Print lines and whatever else, but like that thing is, that's flawless for a 97 Metal Universe. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so that was my fantastic order. Anyways, I'm going to get ready and do a Marvel one, which will actually be a blind reveal, because I freaked out and rage quit after these ones. So, yesterday. So yeah, I'm going to get ready and do those. Talk to you later. Peace!